The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This one's wife. The only way is down. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife was a mediocre actress who landed the jackpot. Many people would have reservations about marrying Prince Harry, but for a narcissist such as this one's wife, he represented the holy grail for someone like her with regard to catering to the prime aims. For someone who was a mediocre actress that came from a fairly run-of-the-mill background, who was earning reasonable money as a consequence of the work at Suits, but then that had dried up, the fact that she was unable to ensnare Harry was getting the winning ticket in the lottery. He was easy to control. He fountained with fuel. There were oodles of character traits and residual benefits for her narcissism to sink its teeth into. An obscure actress about very few people had heard suddenly found herself thrust onto the world stage. And any narcissist would relish such an opportunity because all of a sudden there were millions of people that could be controlled, millions of fuel lines coming towards her, with that delicious, edifying fuel being provided from all manner of different sources. She was splashed across the front cover of magazines and newspapers, was regularly spoken about in the news. She found herself joining the most famous royal family on the planet. It would all be exciting times for a non-narcissist, but for a narcissist it represented a golden opportunity, one whereby the prime aims would be surpassed compared to any other arrangement that she might have achieved. Naturally, she was unaware of the pursuit of the prime aims. She just thought that she had gained the recognition that she was entitled to, that it was time for her to shine, and also that she saw an opportunity to modernize and alter the royal family without having any due regard for the boundaries that this would transgress, the lack of emotional empathy shown for trying to alter a centuries-old institution, and the fact that it showed what a sense of entitlement she had. We know as we have watched that there has been this fall from grace, that the glorious opportunity that she was once afforded has resulted in her fleeing to Canada and then the United States, where she believed that she would set up the court of Queen This One's Wife. It didn't turn out that way. The downward spiral, which I predicted some time ago, commenced, and it is the only way is downwards for this one's wife. She won't see it that way, but the fact is, it's down. Down in popularity, down in influence, down in opportunities, down in financial health, down in the eyes of the world. Repeatedly, there are those that saw that she had that glorious opportunity which she threw away, and it was thrown away as a consequence of her narcissism, which caused her to believe that she was more important than the institution that she had joined, rather than realizing that she was only important because of the institution that she has joined. And on a near daily basis, we are witness to this downward trajectory. As no offers come forward to work with her, ridicule is poured upon her from a variety of different sources. The press continues to report on her failings. Speculation mounts with regard to the state of the marriage. There's no reconciliation with the royal family. She's painted herself into a corner. And as I've explained to you, the only way out of that would ultimately be disengagement with Harry and seeking out someone new. As part of the fact that the only way is down, this is shown, for instance, by a report from Svar Nanan Sen that appears in GB News, whereby it's explained that this one's wife and Prince Harry are tarnished for life as fucking grifters. This one's wife and Prince Harry have been tarnished for life by the brutal fucking grifters label assigned to them by a Spotify executive, according to a royal commentator. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex signed a lucrative contract with the streaming platform after stepping down as working members of the royal family. However, executives at Spotify were left underwhelmed with This One's Wife's Archetypes podcast, which explored stereotypes used against women. In June 2023, it was announced that the couple's deal with Spotify had been cancelled. Shortly after, Bill Simmons, the head of podcast innovation and monetization at the company, blasted the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Simmons said, "I wish I had been involved in the This One's Wife and Harry Leave Spotify negotiation. The fucking grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them." He added, "I've got to get drunk one night and tell the story of the Zoom I had with Harry to try and help him with a podcast idea. It's one of my best stories. Fuck them, the grifters." Royal commentator Tom Bauer claimed the scathing comments from the Spotify executive have damaged This One's Wife and Harry's reputation. Bauer explained, "Of course, they've lost their big Spotify contract, one of the big contracts that was clearly going to be their basis for fame. The grifters line has tarnished them for life. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have just 1 year left on their contract with another streaming giant. Their Netflix deal does not expire until 2025. Tom Bauer describes the fact that they described as fucking grifters as something that has tarnished them for life. And it's accurate. And it is part of the fact that the only way for this is to go downwards. By being described as fucking grifters, other people have been alerted to what they are, and therefore have been entirely reluctant to risk reputation, brand management, and money on them, resulting in not only a drying up of opportunities, but hastening the downward spiral for the Sussexes. I explained in an alternative video those that rescued their careers, but there's not going to be any redemption for This One's Wife. You need talent to turn things around, and she has none. You need charisma to win people over. She has none. The transgressions that she is engaged in, principally smearing the royal family, having nothing to do with her own ailing father, are in the eyes of so many acts which are beyond redemption. And thus, as a consequence of her own behaviour once again, it can be their only way is down. She will fight against it. Her narcissism will ensure that she does so. She will talk about projects in the pipeline, but none will come to manifest. We will see further car park pap walks, desperate attempts to remain relevant and to be commented about, but all it will result in is commentary that is ridiculing her, and thus its purpose has failed. There may be the odd award that is still purchased, the fact that she turns up to an event as a hanger-on, but she is not in the position that she once was, where she was welcomed into the royal family and given a chance by many millions of people, and she's thrown it all away. From the heady position that she adopted way back in 2017 and 2018, her own conduct, driven by her narcissism, has resulted in this fall. And she continues to fall. And, unflushable turd that she is, she won't go away immediately. In fact, the only way that she will go away is when people lose interest in her. She will keep popping up like a whack-a-mole. Once again, trying to reinvent herself, trying to turn up at an event, trying to orchestrate some kind of coverage of herself. And it will only be when the public no longer show any interest in her, and therefore the media outlets realise it's pointless covering her, that she will be cast into the obscurity that she richly deserves. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.